4 o'clock. Start with the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Andrew, do we have a roll call, please?
Josh Hewitts.
Present.
Rick Gunyon.
Present.
Krista Stillwell.
Present.
Mike Reeder.
Present.
Mike Kelly.
Present. Before we get a motion for approval of minutes, I'd like to include in the minutes a memorandum of certification of the executive session that we had last year, signed by myself and Mike Reeder as the. So that would be part of the motion. Any corrections to the minutes? Other than that, a motion for the
I move we approve the minutes.
Krista, and get a second.
I'll second.
And Rick. Whenever you're ready, Andrew.
Josh Hewitts.
Aye.
Rick Gunyon.
Aye.
Krista Stillwell.
Aye.
Mike Reeder.
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. Public participation I don't believe there's any. Anybody, you want to do a safety? You have any safety minute?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe your safety minute is.
You want to do a safety minute, Andrew?
Right.
No, what I need to do is make a calendar post so that I
Maybe as a part of the safety minute, we applaud our electric team for their recent work in making the inventory room more safer by organizing the items better and in more convenient places so that they were not in the way of the walking paths. How's that sound?
That's good.
Okay.
And actually, there was a nice training session today. It went on for about 5 hours actually on the barcoding system and everything that is part of the Tyler software that we have. So they're getting closer to being able to barcode everything. Automatically comes out of inventory. Just makes life so much easier. And once again, we've been paying for this module and not using it, but now we're going to start using it. So I think it's going to take an investment of it's in between $4,000 and $5,000 for the barcode scanner, the printer, and everything. But we have that in the budget for next year, and we'll get that, and things will be better. But the storeroom they've done a very, very good job on
So organizing
and
really
cleaning, and as Krista said, safer. So
Yeah, they can
yes,
respond
much
more efficiently, which keeps everyone else safe. So there's your
if
safety minute.
if it's all barcoded, it's going to keep them all out of there too.
There you go.
All right. Dan Sheets is not going to be here tonight. He's ill today. So we'll put him off until next meeting in December. Did Shane leave?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Shane was going to make a special appeal to the board for instructions on. If you look back in the corner back there, there's a lot of surplus electronic stuff. Some of it is non-usable. Some of it's old, like a VGA monitors and things like that. And he was going to ask for instructions on how to do that. And I think what we have to do is we have to inventory it, and then he can bring us a list of the things, and we declare them non-essential or something like that. Isn't that kind of what we do?
That's correct.
Worthless, yeah.
And then we can dispose of them, or if there's a value for them, we can put them at the Frankfort auction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's any computers, they take the hard drives out and smash them.
Yeah.
And then after that, they're not any good anyway. So
Very official.
yeah.
So
Are they currently inventoried?
They have inventory or
Okay.
or asset tags and stuff
Okay.
on them. So yeah.
I think by inventory, he just meant make a list of what's over there.
Yeah.
Of what needs to be
Yeah.
taken care of.
They should be on the asset
They
books.
Yeah.
So anyway, he would like to do that. So because
I would say follow the normal procedures.
Mhm.
Yes.
so he'll probably have that for us before the end of the year
Good.
sometime. Okay, Todd.
Okay. I was able to get everybody a copy of the draft budget at this point in time. Last, I don't know, it was Wednesday or Thursday. I lose track of my days easily. So those are there. If, haven't received any feedback or questions or anything yet, but if there are any, just let me know and we'll dig into them and get them cleaned up so that hopefully we're closer to getting these things passed. Hopefully at the next meeting. We got a couple weeks, but or that we need to have a special meeting, whatever. I'm open to any of that at this point in time. So
Anybody have any questions about the budget procedure or whatever?
I do. Not having been a part of it before, is there an opportunity for us as a group, or do you go through it line by line, or do you just review it on your own and then vote at it at the meeting, or how have you guys done that in the past?
In the
And
past?
who from the board is helping develop the budget? Okay.
So when I joined the board, it was in November of last year, and so I was like, Kent sat with me and went line by line through the budget and helped me understand, like, this is why this is here,
Right.
this is why this is here. So I think it could be helpful if we wanted to. We could have, like, well, I don't want to violate, but if there's an opportunity for you and I to get together, or you and Todd to get together to go over that budget line by line specifically, if that's what you would like.
That's fine. I've never been a part of a board
Yeah.
that doesn't review their proposed annual budget in a regular meeting.
If I may,
Mhm.
let's discuss what we've actually done prior to last year.
Okay.
I think maybe that's part of your question.
I don't know, because, I mean,
Um,
I'm embarrassed to say I was on the city council for 4 years, and I never really paid attention to how they did the
We've done
budget
it
here, other than I know that, and sorry, I've got another point to make later, so go ahead.
well. Understanding what Krista explained last year, she was new to the board, as she said, and Kent went over with her one-on-one. Prior to that, the board discussed the budget details in meetings,
Okay.
line item by line item. And I know I had a great many questions. I probably wore people out with questions like, why are we calling this line item X in the water department? But
Yeah.
the same thing over
Right.
here in the sewer, we're calling it Y, and then we're calling it Z in electric. I had questions like that. So over the past 6 years or so, we've come from a position where the budget was developed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, the budget was developed individually by each department in their own format,
Got you.
and that was very painful
Sure.
because our oversight is over the entirety of the budget, right? We've moved it from every department having their own look and feel and details
Mhm.
to where now it's a common budget
Yeah.
template, and everybody puts their information in the same way. Am I right?
you're exactly right. Yeah, we have what 5 or 6 different departments, and we had somewhat how we come up with 7 different budget formats.
Yeah.
And at the time too, it's been what 4 or 5 years ago now. We had a wastewater budget and a sewer maintenance budget, but they all come out of the same pot. So we got together and combined,
Combine them.
like vehicle,
Sure.
or for instance, we would have 2 vehicle repair line items, one for
Yeah.
wastewater, one for sewer maintenance. Combine things like that just to get it cleaner and smaller, because it was just, as Rick said, it was just getting out of control.
Yeah.
And one
on
last
things.
thing, just to give you the full appreciation. So when I joined the board in 2015, first let me say that municipal utilities in Indiana are not required to follow what's called generally accepted accounting principles, being a governmental entity. But when I joined the board, we had nowhere close to that, even by the furthest imagination. There was a list of expense items per year, and on the income side, there was no data. It was like one side of the ledger.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way to get both sides of the ledger represented, income, expenses, where we can show a balance, et cetera. So I think, you know, you being a new person on the board, as Krista, I think you might have some good questions. I would like to see us as a board go through the budget. I realize it might take maybe a special meeting, but I'm willing to invest the time.
Well, and if I remember, didn't we do that? Was it the first meeting in December where we actually did? We may not have read line by line, but we at least stopped in each department's budget and we said, like,
Hey, who's got a
here
question?
we are.
Yeah.
What line
And
items
that's
do we have?
fine, too.
Anything we want to highlight? That
Yeah.
sort of thing. I'm just trying to remember because I know it's been about a year ago.
I think you all usually do a work session to work on the budget, and so that's
Okay.
a public
Okay.
meeting. We just don't typically vote, but I think you traditionally have done a work session where you all sit down and whoever
Yep.
needs to be there. I think in the past, department heads have come at different times as well,
Okay.
Okay.
to discuss it. But it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I could have my laptop here, get right into the iDrive, make changes as
Okay.
we're going, and then it's saved, and then they're ready to go whenever you guys are ready to vote on it. So
If that's agreeable to other board
Yeah.
members, I mean, that's my thought.
Yeah, that's
I feel
absolutely
better.
fine with
So
me.
you prefer
Yeah.
to do that as a meeting of its own, and like a special meeting?
If I were doing it, I would do it that way, yes.
That's
Yeah.
fine with me also.
And one that we make sure all of us can attend, we're not
Yeah.
committed somewhere else. And
Thank
probably-
you, that's very helpful.
I probably shouldn't use that term, but
oh yeah, there's a
Funny.
lot
Yeah.
here.
That's fine. The only other thing I had to say about the budget process is, and maybe it's been changed, and Judy, you would probably remember this, but there is a statutory deadline by city ordinance that we have to have this into the city council by a certain date. I believe it's in November.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe
So
it's
my point with that is,
the end.
I thought it was their first meeting in December.
So traditionally, what has happened is there is a date in the ordinance. The way that we have always approached it is as long as the city council is comfortable with the USB getting the budget to them whenever they get it to them, it hasn't been an issue with the city. So it hasn't been like a hard deadline. It is in the
Okay.
ordinance. It should probably be followed. But again, what are the consequences if it isn't? If the city council is agreeable to getting it later, the rationale for not having it at that meeting was that then more information was available. The city council doesn't have to really do anything with the budget. It just needs to be presented to them. So there's no
thought-
approval process or anything like that. It
there is
usually
not.
the city
Not from
council
the city
no, the
council.
city council gets the budget. They have to be presented the budget. They review it, but they don't have to actually approve the budget. You all have to approve the budget.
they basically accept
Yes.
the budget as
Okay.
presented.
Yes. Yes.
But I would say,
I couldn't find the ordinance.
my personal opinion, if we're not gonna follow city ordinance for
Is
one
that
or
it
the
should be
other,
changed.
we should change it.
Yeah. And that would be up to the
I think
city
it's a very
council.
weak argument, which we used last year,
Mm.
to say, well, let's wait till the entirety of the 2024 budget gets in and gets closed out. Because now we're looking at like February 31st for
Sure.
our calendar friends.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no skin in this game, so you all can get the budget done whenever you want to do that. As long as the city council isn't going to file a lawsuit against you, then for my purposes, it's fine. As to whether or not the city council should change the ordinance, that would be something that they'd have to initiate. Unfortunately, you all don't have the ability to do that, but that's something that we could definitely change if the city council wanted to. But again, as long as we're not going to get sued, go ahead.
The last thing I would say real quick is, for years, the utility board provided to the city council the annual budget by the date specified. And how we got off on a tangent and make excuses, well, we're not gonna do that anymore, I don't know. So I would like to get back and do it
Sure.
on that date.
I would agree. And the reason I bring it up was not to create a point of contention, but it was to make the point that I made it a big deal, or I brought up about sticking to the letter of the law about the pilot program. So if I'm going to make a big deal about us sticking to, or then we need to, or them sticking to the letter of the law, that we need to follow the same chain of thought. And if we could find that date, and get it done by that date next year, I think that would be great.
Well, part of the problem was the insurance not being renewed until the end of October, 1st of November.
Yeah.
That's when the budgets were
Yeah.
worked on, because we didn't know if it was gonna be 1.2, 1.6, $1.8 million to tie into the budget.
There are probably only two possible dates before our next meeting to have that. That would be the,
Well, and their next city council meeting is the
December 8th.
December 8th, which I don't foresee any reason, I don't foresee any major red flags based on what Todd and I discussed last week when we met about the budget, that any of you it would warrant deeper study or a huge undoing of things that are already there, right? I have no anticipation that the budget could not be finalized and prepared and in time to be presented to them at the December 8th budget and get it to them before that, or their meeting, I'm sorry, get it to them before that for their review. I don't foresee any reason why that couldn't be the case. Now, when we have our work session, that's the sticking point, right?
so our December meeting is the 3rd, December the 3rd.
December
No, I mean
1st.
December
December
1st.
1st.
So,
I know next week, do we have, is that enough time if we would try to schedule it next Monday, which I know is Thanksgiving week and I don't know what everyone else's schedules are, but if we try to fit it in before the end of November?
There is a city council meeting, or is there?
No,
No, there's
just
not.
the Board of Works meeting,
I
right?
spoke out there, yeah, sorry. I would be available then.
the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Just to try to, just for the goal of getting the budget in final form before the end of November, to give them a couple of weeks to review and ask questions and anything like that they would like.
Okay. A time. Rick, still 4 o'clock would work for you?
It would.
Do you need me at that one?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
yeah. You need to be, no.
I can't be there at that time, so I'm glad you don't need me, but I just
So
saw
we'll
that out.
just, what are we gonna do? Just call this a work session and then we'll try and
Yes.
get everything finalized for the meeting on
The
December 1st?
You pass it on the 1st.
Yeah.
Get
Okay.
Get it to council on the 8th.
Well, and if it gets passed on the 1st, I can get
All
them
right.
copies and everything and in their
Well,
mailboxes, and then if we go there, if there are any questions,
I'm
they
trying
could
to
be
find the ordinance, but my recollection was that it was before the first meeting in December.
That's what I
I think you're right.
Yeah.
The ordinance
That's
is
what
from
I
like
thought I was.
Yeah.
1982.
If I find it, I'll
And I could-
let you know, but
It's not in, I don't think it's in the, it's not accessible through the website.
oh, okay, well then
The
I won't be
ordinance
able to
I've
find
seen.
it.
I mean, this is like, it was, somebody used a typewriter.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
That's why I'm not finding it either. I was
Yeah, you were looking on the road. Yeah. But my
I know that I've
recollection
seen
is,
it.
yeah.
What's
Okay.
that? No, it's not, no.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm thinking that it was the first meeting in December.
That's
So
what
if
we've
you,
always shot for.
so if you all meet, and have it ready to go by the first, if you all approve it at your first meeting in December, then it can get to the council by their first meeting, and then
We're
you
in good
will
shape.
meet the deadline, and all
Yeah.
will be well.
Well, no more questions.
You're allowed to ask questions, Josh.
Defense
Goodness.
rest.
Thank you.
How else we gonna know if you don't have questions?
My face
All
turns
right.
red.
Mine does that too, just for the record.
Another thing, we had a little situation. There was no harm done other than somebody went out and decided that they was gonna build a campfire underneath one of the pavilions at the lagoon. So we're in the process and planning stage. We may end up, depending on what happens with the weather, is get going, but we're gonna trench down and put electric there so that we could get cameras in those sections of things too. Rick and I have talked about it from the lagoon standpoint, from the lagoon's budget, and in agreement that we need to do that. But yeah, it was, you can't stop people from doing things. But at least, the one camera that we had that was going there, there was a tree in the way, so you could see people move, but you couldn't get a good look or anything. So we're going to do that, just put some more security out there.
I think that's a great idea.
Because the work that has been being done, I just expect that people will keep using it because of the improvements that have been made. So we don't want to ruin it for everybody. Another thing is the performance evaluations are all done, And those will be, I talked to the department heads, going to try and get those done between Thursday and Friday of this week so that they're all done and everything. I went through them, and with a couple exceptions, things have worked out very, very well, especially on the attendance side. I mean, there have been people that have improved 40 or 50%, and even more, knowing that they have something that they're being judged on or rated on. I guess we don't want to judge anybody, but rated on and everything. But it did work for 2025. It really did. So that means we got more productivity. We got everything, less burden on other people. But
So if I may, so the
Yeah.
the fundamental purpose of implementing a performance review system was simply to encourage the behaviors we would like to see more of and discourage the behaviors we'd like to see less
Yeah.
of. And to that point, it worked very, very well.
yeah, and I apologize because I was just focused on attendance, but you can see that there are other areas too with attitudes and helping out the whole spectrum of things changed towards the positive. It really did. It was pretty incredible. Nobody went down in scores on any of those. They actually went up on scores, and I'm really pleased with the way that it worked out and everything this year. So it was. It doesn't surprise me because we have great people, and it just had to be brought to some attention that way without doing write-ups and everything. Let them work on it. And after last year, the people did work on it. So I'm really really excited for everybody involved. It was nice. So, and then I emailed this to everybody today. Gave a copy. This is the document that Rick and I have worked on in several edits now, hasn't there, Rick?
Well, too many, but yes.
No, for this, I don't think it wasn't too bad. It really
Let's
wasn't
just
too
say
bad.
it was iterative. We had revision and revision and revision.
Yeah.
We've narrowed it down now, so I
And-
feel pretty good about it.
And bounced a lot back and forth on this, but I don't know. I know there's a lot there, like Rick and I discussed, 17 pages of stuff. But if you want to look at it, review it, and have some movement at the next meeting, or I'm just leaving it up for discussion with you guys right now.
And if I could add,
Yes.
probably in August or September, I had made a commitment during a USB meeting, hearing some emotional concerns from the public about our city aquifer, our aquifer under the city going dry, our electric rates going up, not having enough electricity for other businesses and community growth, and the list is pretty long. These I call them worry points. After hearing these worry points, my response was, well, we'll just take an engineering-based look at what utility usage and demand this proposed data center would place on our Frankfort utility system, and to what extent are we capable or not capable of providing that utility service to that site. So this is an engineering study of the site capacity analysis. I'll give my printed copy to the mayor when we leave here.
I've got a spare one too, Rick.
Oh,
if someone
okay,
else needs one.
even better. If you like to read something kind of dry without many, it's not really a novel, it's just a bunch of facts. So please look this over. I want to give a lot of credit to Todd Corey because he has really done a yeoman's job in putting the facts together, talking to the department heads, getting the numbers about our capacity and our utilization and so forth, so on. And I think this is a very solid document. You can think of it in terms of economic development. Sometimes, typically in electricity supply, you hear about a utility company providing a will serve letter. This is essentially a will serve letter for Frankfort Electric water, wastewater treatment to the city site out at 300 West and 0 North. So it is what it is, and I think it stands on its own. And again, hats off to Todd for putting this together.
You were right there with me, so you deserve the credit as well.
Well,
Rick.
if there's any blame to go around, let me have that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, but we would like your comments or questions. In an earlier draft, Mr. Reader caught a couple of glaring errors that, when you write a document like this, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. So that was very helpful, Mike, thank you. But any questions or comments, we both appreciate it back, okay?
No, I thought you guys did a great job with it. I
Thank
read it
Yes.
a couple times now. It's very, very thorough.
We had a couple minor changes this morning
Oh, I'm sure.
that we did, just out of some, took one of them out just out of the tension that was in the air with some things, but, and it was just one person's name that we thought it was best to leave out of there as well, so.
Are we anticipating that we take this 17-page formal document and reference it in a more digestible way, whether it be with additional visuals, whether it be something that's used for outreach purposes specifically? Is that the goal of this, or
Is it for public consumption?
that's what I would like, because I do believe whether it's an existing development project that's known, right, or it's a future development project that's yet to be known, we're going to continue to have similar public questions each time a large potential developer comes into our community with a project that is going to have a large load need, water or electric, right?
Well, for me, it would help, because I'm one of the first people that are contacted when somebody's looking, because if we don't have the capability, they're not
Correct.
even gonna pursue it any further.
Correct.
So from that, it's gonna help. I could just say, hey, I've got this here. This will answer all your questions.
Yep.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. We was looking for this if people wanted to see it. Correct?
Well, first of all, it is a public document.
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
but
here
I'm
becomes
more
public,
saying
right?
that it is,
Which is good,
this
right?
is not built for public consumption in a communications friendly format, is what I am getting at. That it's a document that is readable and digestible, yes. But is it in a form that I would say is outreach friendly? No. So,
But do you want it to be?
yes. I mean, yes, is what I'm getting at.
I think it's a great topic. In my experience, in the engineering world, there's what we might call engineering speak.
Yes.
That's what this is.
Yes.
And there's common English language.
Yes.
And you don't try to put English language translations into an engineering document.
Correct.
It just becomes even less readable.
Correct.
Believe it or not.
Yes.
So two things. This is provided to the board with the expectation that on the back page, on page 12, there's a page that says reviewed and accepted by resolution of the Frankfort Municipal Utility Site Capacity Analysis by the board and the board members and dates. So if we get a majority vote in favor of accepting this document, now it's not something that Todd and I created out of thin air.
Yeah.
It's been reviewed by the utility board and accepted. And therefore it's more of an official document with standing. And it could be translated to English, even though it's written in English. I can help do that. The executive summary on page 2 is pretty much as boilerplate
Yes.
English as we can get. It's down to 3
Yep.
paragraphs. So if you're thinking about a release on a Facebook page or a website, absolutely support that. Maybe that can be done in an interview fashion between maybe yourself and Todd. Question and
That's a
answer
good idea.
format.
Yep.
Whatever makes sense
Yep.
to communicate to the public, because the danger of where we are now is, and I'm a direct speaking person. Everybody here knows that, right? I say what I think. We have a group of naysayers that are very emotionally charged, and they are making statements that are absolutely untrue. For example, the reason the water tower is out at I-65 is to provide water to the lily plant in Lebanon.
Correct.
That's absolutely not correct. So, but they get by with these statements, This is meant to be somewhat of a balancing document. This is factual engineering information, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't translate it to English speak. Happy to do that, or Todd can do a good job. I think it's a great topic. And I think the other part of what you asked, let's bring up another potentially controversial economic development. Let's say hypothetically there's a lettuce farm somewhere near I-65 and 28 in our future, potentially, a hydroponic growing plant. And it would use some amount of fresh water, potable water from our system. There might be naysayers that don't want that water used for that purpose, and they say, well, we should be farming in the dirt. Don't bring that to our community. We don't need it here. I want 1950 Frankfort, not 2030 Frankfort. That's my opinion. Well, luckily, not all these people get a vote, number one. Number two, back to this document. This is essentially a template document that we can substitute the site, the utility connection, demand load, cut out the details, put in the new details, and now we have this document for a new potential development in maybe 2 days of time versus 2 months of time.
I'm gonna say a day or less.
Yeah.
Once we get the information, it would be very easily
So that's the benefit of having done this
Yeah.
once. It does serve as a template. So very, very good topic.
Yeah.
Would you, having asked that question, Christy, would you care to take that forward and maybe interview Todd if you think that's a good approach?
I think a video approach would be excellent, but I also think, I also just continue to go back to the visual nature of our culture and think about the fact that I think there are probably so many bite-sized nuggets that can come out of this that can be created into graphic form, bar graph form, things of that nature that would be easily represented
I like
and
that.
talking points.
Yeah, like our capacity. Let's go capacity of water. Okay, we're
Correct.
here's the full thing.
Yep.
You just dropped this little pie chart out
Yep.
that shows that we're running about 50% of our capacity.
That's exactly
We've got
right.
this.
And we
Yeah.
continue to reinforce those talking points to give ratepayers comfort that we are in a secure situation, right?
Right.
And continue to use those talking points in an outreach format so that there is not a concern that information is being hidden, information is not being transparently shared, information is not being proactively communicated. So that was my whole question is if there is an opportunity for us to take this document, almost consider it like you would an academic source, right? It's something that can be referred to, it can be annotated, it can be, cited as a source of information for future development of ongoing communication and
I'm
outreach.
not known to give one-word answers, but my answer would be yes.
Yeah.
Great.
My
I got a
answer would
two-word answer.
be,
Cliff notes.
my
That's what
answer
we
would
need.
be yes, also, and I think it's important that someone presents the facts of the matter
Correct.
rather than the rumor or the innuendo or the I heard it from the grapevine type thing. And I think it's our job to put the facts out there in a manner that the public can understand and and I'd encourage them, if they have questions about one of those facts,
Yes.
to come sit right in here and ask that
Yes.
question.
Submit it to us via email, submit it to us on social media, submit it to us in any of the forms of communication to which we can receive that and answer it publicly and transparently. And I think if there's anything any of you have seen from me on social media, it's that I like to present facts. So therefore, that's why I asked that question.
Great topic. Great topic. Stop Todd in the golf course, whatever your.
Whatever.
No, I'm still under doctor care, so I can't do that.
So I would look for a motion that this board that we have reviewed and would accept by resolution this document as an official document of the United Utility Service Board.
So that would be resolution number 2025-11-17-01.
We're going resolution style.
Say that again?
2025-11-17-01.
Okay. Is there such a motion on the board?
I'm comfortable making that motion, but I don't want to deprive anyone of the opportunity to review it further before voting on it, but I'm ready to go. So, yes, I'll make a motion.
So we have a motion
I will second that motion.
and a second. Roll call.
Rick Gunion?
Could you ask me last, please,
Yes.
since I'm the co-author?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Krista Stillwell.
Aye.
Josh Hewitt.
Aye.
Mike Reeder.
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye.
Rick Gunion.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. We'll get a signed copy.
Thank each of you.
There's one coming around right here.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Go
you
ahead.
have a signature page?
Oh,
Okay.
that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
We're using our new,
I use that pen, it's a little better.
Yeah,
what do we
sorry.
call that,
Digital
our
page.
Traveler.
document tracking.
Yeah, a document traveler. Okay, I've got one more thing. And I was asked, it's been about a week and a half ago, from my contact in Tipton if I would be willing to sit in on a conference call with some people, with him and some people from Purdue University. And so I joined the call, and they're looking for information about infrastructure for utilities, especially from the way Indiana is starting to grow with developments in industrial, but of course mainly focusing on, right now it seems like, on data centers. So they asked some questions, and I gave them about a 30,000 foot view of our of where we sit right now with our infrastructure, especially with, we know what's going on the northwest part of the city there with a potential data center. So the conversation was great, and when it came down to it, they had a civil engineer on there and was asking me questions, and they said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm positive what we have and what we can do and what our capacities are right now." And so, like I said, we just talked for a while, but at the end of it, they asked me to take part of a focus group through Purdue University for utility infrastructure and what we have done, because I have told them that this board and the city has been so proactive on building up things for the next great thing that comes to town, whether you want to call it a data center, anything, any industry and stuff. So they were really impressed by that, and they asked me to take part of that. I've been getting a piecemealed little bit of the information. I received something today, and it's not going to take a lot of time or anything. They said maybe the first kickoff meeting might take 4 or 5 hours just to get it going, and it's going to drop down less and less. But they're really interested in what has happened here in Clinton County, and they want to hear more and see if other people can follow in our footsteps to be prepared for something in the future. So I was kind of honored by that request, to be honest with you. So I told them I would do it, and we're just getting the information and going from there.
Hey, can I make a quick comment?
Yeah.
Alicia has her favorite phrases. I have a favorite phrase too. One of my favorite phrases is "as it turns out." So as it turns out, this data center site, the proposed data center site, is near the ConAgra warehouse, which itself is around 1,500 feet southeast of a little-known electrical distribution site on a county road, obscure, that you wouldn't go down there unless you got lost. And that is that nearness to that electrical distribution site is the reason why we have an outstanding amount of electrical capacity through the regional electric distribution network to that location. And interestingly enough, within less than a quarter of a mile to the southwest of ConAgra, we have a point in the county that actually shares 3 different electric company supplies, Duke Energy, Tipmont, and Frankfort Municipal Electric, which comes from IMPA. And so one of the attributes that a data center looks for is redundant power sources, of which at the current proposed site there are two. It's ours and Tipmont's, and they both trace back to different, let's say, sources of electrical energy. So they're very redundant, very robust. But there's actually a third, that being Duke, which has not been discussed, but there's a handful of places in Indiana that have 3 electrical supply sources in one location, and we have one, and it's out there. So we're well positioned, I'll put it that way.
Very well. And they were quite shocked when I told them. I explained almost the same situation right there, and quite surprised. And we're going to go from there and see what they say.
Good deal.
All right.
Well, thank you for your approval of this document.
Yeah.
Thank
Or
you, Rick,
acceptance, rather.
Todd, for your work on this.
Oh, not a problem at all.
Yep.
All right. That's all I have.
All right. We'll probably have you back up in a little bit.
Okay.
We had some additional claims that were presented. They're mostly those that need a time deadline for credit cards and things. So, Andrew, you want to go over those?
Yep, we have a John Deere from Wastewater for $1,098.90. We have a Tipmont from Water for $236.84, and we have a John Deere out of Water for $1,415.96.
So, I'm looking for a motion to approve the claims that you, regular claims and the additional claims.
I'll make the motion to approve the regular claims as presented, as well as the additional claims mentioned just briefly a moment ago.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second. Go ahead.
Josh Hewitt,
Aye.
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Rick Gunion,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. We've talked, getting down to the unfinished business from prior meetings. Like I said, Dan Sheets was not able to be here tonight, so we will not do that. We talked about the budget process and the general manager's report. I guess I have some questions about the 26 pilot, and I think this is, if I remember correctly, the city council is to present us a resolution or some kind of a request for a pilot. Is that right, Alicia?
The city council is supposed to provide the amount to you all when the pilot payment is going to be made. But I think at this point, where this last was left was that you all were going to present to the city council what your determination of that pilot amount should be based on the information that you had. So the city council would need to make a request for payment, but I think it's a little premature because the city council doesn't know what y'all are thinking yet.
Okay. In the last couple of meetings, I think it's 2 meetings ago, we were presented a calculation of maximum pilot. I think it's time that we think about taking that action. And I'll open it up for discussion of anybody that you all have had this for some time, I believe, on that. So I know Josh, pilot is one of the things you were concerned about. Do you have any questions or anything?
I don't. I was satisfied with that document. I can't recall the amount off the top of my head, but I want to say it was 374, 348,
348, 148.
348, 148. So if that's the amount we want to recommend, I'm fine with that. And then if somebody needs to go to the council to explain that, I'm also fine with doing that.
I think at the very least, the city should be provided the documentation
Sure.
and an explanation of how that was calculated, what assets you looked at and the values and that sort of thing, and then give them an opportunity to kind of review it. And then if there was any questions, then the city could kind of come back to you all and discuss it further and you
Right.
know.
I think there's plenty of time for that.
I mean, that,
Yeah.
that documentation there is pretty sound, I think.
Okay.
Shows all the work.
Perfect.
So I'm looking for a motion that we submit the figures that are on this sheet, the Frankfort Municipal Utilities calculation of maximum pilot using the formulas that are prescribed by the state of Indiana to the city of Frankfort via the city council.
Before we have someone make a motion, I do have a question. These documents look relatively identical, other than the one has the RFG at the bottom for the fact that it was prepared by Reedy, and the other one is the one that was prepared by us. So I think it would be ideal, just from a first glance calculation standpoint, to ensure that we in some way, shape, or form notate this in a way, whether it has our logo on it, a date, a timestamp, something, because otherwise they look almost exactly the same except for this at the bottom. So that would be my only thing.
Add the logo to the footer.
Yeah. Just because, like I said, when I pulled the first one out, I was like, wait, the numbers don't match. I pulled the second one out and realized I didn't look all the way to the bottom.
So the one with the
It has no footer.
348, 148, and nothing is the,
We'll get that.
okay, we have the motion, we're looking for a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Josh,
Mike.
Mike Reeder, second.
Second.
Oh, Josh, second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay.
We sound alike, Josh.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Ready?
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Josh Hewitts,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye.
Again,
So-
I'd like to thank Todd and Andrew for working through those numbers, particularly in the face of the context was, I believe Reedy Financial had come up with numbers, and it was kind of necessary to determine what's in, what's out, what applied, and so forth. So a little bit of swimming uphill, but thank you both for doing the hard work here. Appreciate it.
And Todd, you'll get all the documents and through those two guys there, we'll get it to the
Okay.
city.
We should be able to, I don't know why we couldn't get it tomorrow, like you probably. We're just gonna,
Just to put the logo on?
yeah, and then we want to get our asset list and everything back.
Would it,
We should
That
love
should,
it.
that should be fine, yeah.
Yeah,
would it
we'll
be-
get it. We'll have it by the end of the day tomorrow.
Can I ask
Would-
that when we
Good luck,
annotate
man.
the final document, that we put a name and a date?
Yeah.
Okay.
then would it be fair to say that we'll be there, we're gonna be there on the 8th anyway to answer
Yeah.
questions about our budget. We can also answer questions about that at the same time or present. Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
Another thing in the unfinished employee handbook, I've spent quite a bit of time the last week looking at this, and there are a couple of things that I felt needed to maybe be a little different. Pull it out here. And other than one of them is got to do with a couple words that are in there twice in the same way, and I talked with Krista about that. And another one's about critical jobs, I believe, not necessarily to go into great explanation on what those are. And one of the things I thought would maybe be a possibility is that the handbook cover looks something like this. It'd be, it's a City of Frankfort employee handbook, but it's the utility edition. how the process that we talked about was that this would, we would go over it, make suggestions, and I'm looking, if there are other suggestions about wording in it, but what it's done is taking 90% of the city's handbook and pulled in the things that were specifically for utility employees. This way, it is a Frankfort. It refers to the employees as the Frankfort City employees, but it's got some special things in it for those. And then when I looked at the Frankfort City one, there are things for the firemen and the policemen, but they don't have nearly as many other things in there about vacations and employee time off and that kind of thing. And so it's almost necessary to incorporate those. So I think the process that we talked about was for us to review it, and then we'll send it to the next step, which be what I couldn't remember if it was going to be for Alicia to look at or for HR people to look at. Do you remember, Krista?
Both and all of the above.
Both?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Yeah, I figured I would send it to them simultaneously for their review and subsequent redlining.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
No red line.
So I guess I'm asking, are we ready to make that next step?
I would, since I spoke out previously in favor of a single manual, I think this gets us close enough for that. I'm also aware there's a saying in business, perfection is the enemy of good enough. I think this is quite good enough. I think this is a reasonable approach, so I would support this approach, and I don't have any comments. I've looked through the document, the draft, and don't really have any comments at this point. So, yeah.
Mike, you have any?
I'm ready to move forward with it. Get off of our plate.
Josh?
I'm fine with it.
I don't even think I don't think that even needs to be a motion that we haven't approved it, but we're ready to move it on to the next.
Correct.
Correct.
I believe so. Yeah. Consensus.
Yeah. So I'll go over those changes one more time with you before we leave, and then we'll get the final document prepared and sent to you all for your review.
Perfect.
All right. I believe any other things that we need to talk about that you have on your mind?
I have one item under new business, if I might. And I just want to tee this up for discussion, just so you know where I stand. Sometimes it's helpful when you're describing something you want to work toward or achieve. It's helpful to describe what you don't want to do. So I don't want to talk philosophically. I'm going to make a statement based on the merits versus philosophy. As with this handbook that Krista and Mike yourself developed, edited, refined, and redefined and re-edited, I think it's one of many examples of how Krista has contributed to this board in the past year. So, Mr. Reader, don't take this the wrong way, but in all deference to you, you continue to do a good job as a board member. My feeling is Krista has left footprints on the utility board work products already. We can see what she's done, the different initiatives she's moved forward. So looking to next year's board membership, I would be in favor of voting Krista as either chairman or co-chairman or vice chairman, if you will, for the coming year, in acknowledgement of her contribution and her effort. And again, don't take that wrong, Mike.
I'm not.
It's nothing about you personally. I just think it's the right thing to do for the right reasons. If I were to talk philosophically, I guess I would go back to, though I've been a member of this board since 2015, if we look at this board membership going back to 2012 in the Chris McBarnes administration, both the chairman and vice board have always been mayoral appointments. But if you look at Indiana statute, the 5 of us are co-equal. There's no reporting structure, one person above another. And so when I look at that in totality, I would prefer that we occasionally shake it up a little bit and have one of our either chair or co-chair persons from the mayor side and one from the council side. I just think that's a better, you can call it diversity, you can call it inclusion, you can call it good business. It's just my perspective. I wanted to put that out there just so I don't offend anybody later, but just that's my current thinking, and I'm happy to take the feedback, good or bad. So
I will tell you, I think Mike wanted that in the beginning.
well, okay.
Thank you,
But
Rick. I will
that's,
take,
that's just to put it out there
and,
again.
and again, there's a lot of things she's doing that's behind the scenes too, that we don't even, Christmas, those kind of things that, it just, she has very nice, fresh ideas for this board, I would say,
Union negotiations.
and union negotiations. Anything else? If not, we'll have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll be beginning an executive session in about 10 minutes.
Do you want me to stay for that or no?
Probably be best,
Okay, I can do that.
especially.
Got it. Yeah, I did.